5 on My 5. Kerry and Henry are still with me. And later on, we've got some last-minute Easter bargains for you. So if you haven't got round to buying those Easter eggs just yet, we've got you covered. Now, all that, of course, on a shoestring. So we've got some great deals. So stay tuned for that. But before that, of course, I should tell you that we're talking about smart meters. Now, look, it's recently been reported that 4 million smart meters across the country may not be quite so smart. But don't panic. Consumer expert Harry Kind is here to tell us exactly how to check if yours is working as it should. We're also going to be explaining what to do if it's not. But before that, let's talk to you both. Now, Kerry, we've been talking a break. You're not a fan of smart meters.
No, it will ruin my life. I never want one. No, I'm not joking.
Do you have one?
You laugh.
Yes.
No.
You don't have one?
No, Alexis, I do not, and I will never have one. And if I get told I have to have one, I would rather live... I'd rather live with a cup. Like I will rub sticks together and make a fire myself.
Can I just ask, so full disclosure, I've made a documentary about smart meters for Channel 5, so I've looked into them, talked a lot about them. I have one. What don't you like about them?
I've been to a friend's house and she's boiled her kettle and it's shot up and it frightens me. I'm telling you now, I will not live. I will not have any quality of life. My family will only be able to have one hot drink a day. My son will never be able to go on any of his game station. It will ruin my life. Harry, convert me.
Bliss is what you're saying.
No, hang on a minute. No, because I'm 40 years old and I am very energy efficient. I'm very careful. I turn lights off. I don't need someone to say to me or a meter to... I'm not having one.
Well,
Harry, I don't
let me
want
give you
one.
the flip side of that,
Okay.
right? Is that you are going around turning off the lights, trying to save a little bit of energy,
Yes.
and you're also worried about boiling the kettle. And I can tell you that with the smart meter, you'll know that turning off all those lights for maybe 15 minutes isn't really going to save you any money, but maybe running a dishwasher on eco mode versus the kind of quick version, that will save you money. And so it will mean that you don't have to get paranoid about things that are going to, have no impact on your bill.
OK, Henry, have you got one?
No, but my electricity company is constantly bombarding me to get one. I mean, every other month I'm getting a letter saying, hey, you haven't got a smart meter yet.
Yeah.
Why don't you get one?
Yeah,
It's going to be good for you.
And we should explain, and Harry will back me up on this, that your electricity company is doing that because they're being told to do that by the government.
Right.
And for failing to get as many smart meters out there, they're being fined by the government. So they are being pushed.
So they want me to help them out, basically.
Exactly. They have been given a deadline to get 80% of homes fitted with a smart meter in England, Wales and Scotland by the end of 2025.
Yeah.
And so they are a little bit behind on that, even though millions of people have got one.
Yeah.
So they want to make this switch happen. It's really important for a whole load of different reasons on a kind of top level. If we are going to have a smart energy grid so that you can make sure that we have enough electricity for people to come home from work and put the heating on, for people to be able to charge all of their cars, for people to use a heat pump, for example, or to kind of balance wind turbines and solar panels rather than just firing up a coal power station, we need the kind of data that you have in smart meters, but they're also good for consumers as well.
OK, so look, Harry, let's explain for people that may not have one or are curious about getting one, or they're getting these letters from their energy companies like Henry is to get a smart meter. Let's start by explaining what a smart meter is. I know Which have produced this great graphic.
Yes.
Let's just show people what's happening.
So basically, when you have a smart meter, it is taking a traditional meter and it's hooking it up to the internet. So instead of having someone come out every quarter to note down on a piece of paper what your meter says, it just sends that effectively via text to your energy company. And it does that pretty much every half hour, which means that they are getting constant, accurate, up-to-the-minute information. But you might also have one of these, which hooks up to your smart meter, which is your in-house display. Yeah. It's a little box that looks like a tablet, and that allows you to track your energy usage in real time.
And can I say that we need to make this abundantly clear to everybody watching. Your smart meter is not your in-home display unit. A lot of the times the people I've come across said it's not working properly. What they mean is their display unit's not working properly. The smart meter essentially, and correct me if I'm wrong, Harry, all the research I've done is just a regular meter with a mobile phone strapped onto it that communicates to your electricity company and tells them gives them accurate meter readings of what energy you're using.
So hang on a minute. So it's what we've got already then, and providing you're efficient giving your readings, then why are we even bothering going to one?
Not what you've got already. For a lot of people, you've just got a traditional meter, and it would have to have someone come and read that. Effectively, what a smart meter does is it attaches, a phone line to that meter and just sends that number up to the cloud so that the energy providers have it.
You know what might help persuade the refuseniks, like Kerry and me, is if you could tell us what percentage of people who've had a smart meter installed are now being charged less than when they had the traditional meter.
Well, I tell you something, I got a call the other week from my energy supplier saying that they will save me 20% on my bill if I move on to one. Now, I don't think that's fair.
Well,
that's not OK.
Do you know...
Go and have it.
It's not only that you can save money on a smart meter, I have been paid money for not using electricity because I have a smart meter. And this is because not only can you go, I'm going to reduce my energy usage, I can see what devices are costing me money, but they can also have these kind of basically bribery programs that say too many people are using too much electricity between 5 o'clock and 6 o'clock on this day, and if you use less, we'll give you a fiver, basically. It's a fantastic scheme.
Why have they been in the news recently?
Yes. So all those good parts, that's all great. But, of course, if you're going to roll out millions of little techno boxes into people's houses, stuff is going to go wrong. And what the government have found is that 4 million of these have gone wrong. Now, when I say go wrong, most of the time, in almost all of these cases, it's just your smart meter going back to being a dumb meter. We've gone back to what you had in 2005. Right. And so people who complain and say, oh, no, this is awful, this is having a bad impact on people. No, it's just taking people back to what a lot of people want, which is these dumb meters. But it's not good enough.
And it's essential to say there's 35 million smart meters out there, and the large majority, 87.3%, are working as they should. So we're talking about
and are people paying less on average? Do we know this?
We do. And it's thought that once we've got up to 2028, when we've pretty much all got smart meters, we will be saving £1.2 billion every single year. That's across consumers, that's across energy companies, that's across the government, every single year. So there's a big prize in this.
Let's find out what people are saying at home. Daryl in Leeds. Welcome to the show, Daryl. Smart meter skeptic, or have you got one and you like it?
I've got one that is dumb. It stopped working about 12 months ago, and we've talked to the provider over and over and over again. Eventually, they sent an engineer out a couple of months ago. He took a look at it and said, yeah, that's faulty, it needs replacing. I said, oh, good, right, we've got it sorted. And he says, yeah, but we've been told we can't replace them.
Why?
So he just said they've been told we can't replace them. And so I went back to the provider again and said what the engineer said. And they said, no, there's nothing wrong with your meter. It's the wide area network that's the problem.
It's the what?
But the wide area network, the mobile phone signal or whatever, is the problem. But he said the meter was faulty. There was a red light on the front of the meter which told him it was faulty, but the company had told him he wasn't allowed to replace it.
Okay.
Now the reason I'm ringing you really is that I've got an electric car and I want to go onto one of these cheap car charging tariffs.
Yeah.
But I can't because I haven't got a smart meter.
Yeah, that is a problem. Harry, what can Daryl do?
Well, yeah, Daryl's absolutely right. You've just got to be insisting to your energy provider that they have got to replace it. If they are giving him the runaround, then you might want to put in a complaint, Daryl, to the Energy Ombudsman, because after 8 weeks of nonsense from an energy company, you can put in a complaint and they are an independent body and they can escalate it and come to a resolution. So that's worth doing.
OK. Daryl, thank you for your call. I must say, in my personal story, I had a smart meter fitted ages ago. When we changed provider, my smart meter went dumb, as in it stopped communicating. But a lot of millions of those smart meters, the old dumb ones, have now become smart again because the clever people doing all the clever stuff have figured out a way to make them communicate again. So I went from having a smart meter to a dumb meter, and now it's working again and communicating with my
You know the period
provider.
when it went dumb? Did anything happen to your bill?
So, no, nothing happened to my bill because the meter still works as a meter. So all I had to do was kneel down in the cupboard underneath the stairs and look at the number and put that in on the website. That's all that happened. Harry, how would you know if your smart meter is not working properly?
So if you check your bills, that's going to be the number one indication that all of those numbers that were previously saying your actual readings or your smart readings, they will start saying estimates. And so you're still getting charged potentially the same amount of money because you have a direct debit, but they're now based on an estimated reading. And that really is a key indication that your energy company, they're just not getting that data anymore. And so the first thing you should do then is go to your meter and, as you said, do that dumb reading yourself, note it down and put it onto the website. But other things could happen as well. It could be that your screen has gone blank in your in-home display. That's a sign something could be going wrong. If you are hearing weird noises from your meter we've heard of, that is a sign that something's gone wrong. And in those cases, it might be worth resetting your the power to the in-house display, but usually call your energy provider. They should sort it out.
OK, look, we're going to pause there, but stay with us because we're going to be taking more of your calls on smart meters just after the break. Number is 0207 862 2222. And also we'll be sharing some advice on what you can do if you've been hit with a big bill and you're struggling to pay it. Plus, Easter's just around the corner. If you haven't sorted the kids' Easter eggs just yet, or you're worried about the cost, don't worry. We've got some great last-minute bargains for you to nab. All that coming after the break.